One thing that I tend to focus on a lot is that emotional connection.
Okay. Social media.
Social media and everything, right? Another thing is that what I do is I get family members to help me out.
Hi, welcome to Siow podcast, and today we are very honored to have Daniel Nazreen with us. And Daniel Nazreen is a very, very charming and very outstanding agent, especially Bumi Agent, right, Daniel?
Yes.
Daniel, probably can give your brief introduction about yourself.
Thanks again for having me here today, Aaron. So I've been in this field for about 7 years now.
Okay.
And I'm very specific on the target market that I'm actually focused in. So like right now, I'm focused more on PJ Damansara itself.
Okay.
All right. Last time it used to be more Subang Ara Damansara. So I tend to change it between that as well. And being a Bumi agent itself, you'll come with some challenges here and there. But over the years, I actually managed to outcome it as well, overcame a lot of it throughout my journey.
So you say that you have been in this industry for 7 years, and what industry were you in before this?
So prior to this, I was actually a full-time head chef.
Okay, chef.
Yeah.
Wow.
I even graduated in culinary arts before this.
Okay.
All right. My passion is always going to be cooking. I like to do that. Not baking that much, but more into cooking. So I was in Japanese cuisine, Western, Malay, Indian as well. So change of path in between it is that I decided to do sales in general, but I didn't know specifically what kind of sales I wanted to do.
What product you want to sell.
Correct,
And what make you do such a big change? I mean, as you say that you're in culinary art, and people will usually think that, that will be my life.
Correct.
And why there is a cross path?
The main path actually happened is that when I saw there were actually people out there being able to open up their own restaurants without taking out a huge amount of loan, because they had a specific amount of cash that they could actually fork out for. So I know by doing it in a chef's salary, it was not possible because I calculated like maybe about 28 years before I actually can take out money to open up my restaurant. So that's when I decided that the one place where I can control my income is in sales.
Okay.
But then you got insurance, you got cars, you got properties, so many of it. And my leader currently, right, he was one of the owners of the restaurant that I was working in.
Okay.
So he tried to recruit me here and there, but after a few years later, I did some thoughts and started thinking like maybe property should be something that I was looking at, because I tend to deal with a lot of clients as well, customers, right, in front there. So speaking was one of the strengths that I had.
All right. So that's how you came to this industry. And do you find challenge, when you're new in this industry, like from a chef background to the sales and it's property?
Right. So the main challenge is just understanding the foundations and fundamentals about property itself.
Okay.
Because it's two different lines. So I thought in general I was going to have this very, very hard path of understanding what properties is like. But put it this way, right? Generally, if you are buying a property, you still need to understand the same fundamentals as an agent would.
True.
Right? So one way or another is that if I learn this, it's actually helping me not only in the path that I wanted to go as a property agent, but when I'm a buyer myself. So I just did most readings like what would I need to know if I was a buyer? And then I change it into implementing it into my sales.
So basically you treat yourself as a buyer.
Yes.
You look from a point of view as a buyer, not from a sales agent perspective, but more to buyer perspective.
Correct.
And then you package it, and then you actually share from what you have learned to the buyer from the buyer side of the story.
Correct. Because like at least 90% of our lives we're always buying. So that's when I decided that if I'm buying, I should know everything about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now you have been in this industry for 7 years.
7 years.
And I see your journey was quite smooth sailing.
It was a bit rough at the start.
Okay.
Because at first I didn't know like what is the right team, what's the right method, all that kind of things. And prior to me, when I joined IQI, I was actually 1 day before MCO. So like literally today was the interview, the next day was MCO.
Okay.
And that's when Zoom viewing was coming in. So it was a very new environment. Okay, so you had to actually learn through a lot of things. And a few years back, we even had a conversation in O'Brien.
Yes.
And I just
2 years back, I think.
2 years back, and one thing is that it continuously keeps growing. like the smooth sailingness does happen, but the past over 7 years, there's a lot of broken plates behind that.
Definitely.
You
I think in this journey, it's not about how smooth you are, but how quickly you can adapt.
Correct.
And make yourself feel uncomfortable for that,
Exactly.
Like it's kind of dangerous to stay comfortable all the while.
Yes, it is, because like even right now when I have my teams, right, they come from different backgrounds before this as well. I have bankers, some of them are hairstylists. Okay, so it's very hard for them, and they'll decide that it's not something that they can do because they're not comfortable. So like you said, taking that first step of out of the comfort zone, we'll definitely be able to go through a long way in this journey.
So now 7 years, and I see that like you've been camping for PJ Damansara Project, while many people like they try to start different projects. While you are the one that's still camping there, and recently you've been closing $1 million deal.
Yeah.
And what made you so believe in that location?
Because the thing is, right, before that I used to focus in Subang. Market, because I was born and raised in Subang.
Okay, so you're a Subang.
I'm a Subang boy,
Okay.
Okay, so one thing is that Subang market, every location is actually really different.
Yes.
And one thing is that when I started selling Ara Damansara, I noticed that the market here was very different. It fit to who I can connect with easily. Okay, their sense of understanding the market is actually very different.
Okay.
So when I tend to focus more on PJ Damansara, is first of all is the market, and second is mainly the growth of this area, like PJ Damansara. Over the past 10 years, you will see that it continuously keeps growing. So I tend to want to focus there is because that the people I can actually connect to. Like doing sales is the main thing, but being able to connect with multiple people, right, is actually something very different. Because when I was working in the restaurant back then, I was working in Taman Tun, and all the clients that I meet there is very different. So one thing that I liked when I was actually mainly focused in PJ Damansara, the stats, the projects that they come, but the market is something that a lot of people tend to forget, right? The market that you're dealing with is actually really important as well.
Okay. So do you feel yourself that it's like right now it's doing a little bit of up markets? And it's like PJ Damansara is always a address that people are always looking forward to?
Address-wise, yes, okay, but it's more about the convenience of where it's at. Because if you think about it, right, Damansara is actually a very central location to prime areas like PJ, KL, Bangsa, Mont Kiara. So, like for myself in Subang, generally these places are a little bit further.
Yes.
Okay. But when I purchased my property in Damansara, I noticed that for me to go anywhere or any place to meet with friends or clients, right, it's like very central. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes drive.
Yeah, you'll be basically everywhere.
Correct.
Yes.
Just right there. But when I'm in Subang, it takes me about 30, 40
So
over
basically,
minutes.
you believe in a location.
Yes, I believe in the location.
And just for this belief, it drives you all the way until today, and you close multiple deals. And I believe that just because of this belief, you show the passion to this location. You show the right property. And okay, what are your customer base right now? Is it more the upgrader or first home buyer?
Fairly mixed, actually. It's very mixed. I do enjoy serving first home buyers. Like there are some agents on the market, they don't favoritize them that much because they feel like it's a longer process. They want to survey a lot and all that kind of things. But if you give me a first home buyer on my first appointment with you, right? What I would actually do is I would do a big survey of the surrounding areas based on your requirement.
Okay.
So what I do is that I save you these 5 trips of different showrooms that you need to go and do with different agents giving different opinion.
Okay.
So I give you a very throughout list of what are the projects within this area, and then I would share with them the project that they are seeing with me now. This top 2 is memang your best requirement out from all of it.
All right.
Okay, and then I have the market where they have second, third home buyer. They go to investments and stuff. So it's very mixed. I tend to focus more on first home and those looking at second home.
Okay.
Why I say second home and not like third, fourth home, right? Second home is because this is the transition where they're either going for investment or own stay. So they tend to be lost. So this is where you guide them and tell them like, oh, okay, where the first home is right now, where you work. So you know that where they're staying currently and where they're working is close by. So let's go into the second property as an investment. Okay, and if I reverse it backwards, it's like now they're staying really far from where they're working. So I said, this is actually close by. And no matter what, right, I always get clients who, for the second home, wherever they're staying currently is further from where they're working.
Okay.
Okay, so then I convinced them this is going to be for your own stay because Damansara Central. That's where I believe in my source and my product that will actually convince the buyers themselves.
So eventually, do you find out that like to buy a property, it's not so much about the property itself. It's more on the needs,
Yes.
the location, and eventually it's only like probably the 30 to 40% about which property to buy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they need to understand that real estate in general is a needs. Okay, whether you're looking at it for investment or own stay, it's a must. A big achievement once you actually achieve it as well. So when you look at it as a needs, right? Even your prospects and future prospects will also understand that this is actually something that I need.
Yeah. So it's not about how good you are to push me to buy.
Correct.
But it's how good you are to look at my needs, and from there we expand the explore which one is able to put in the list and which is suitable for me.
Yes.
So I think that this is what makes you different compared to many agents. Many agents like they will just push a product to the buyer just because they think the product is good.
Yes.
But whereas whether the product is good or not is depending on what is my needs. A good product, but I need to take 1 hour to drive from where I stay to the working place, it could not be good for me.
Correct. Exactly. Throughout my journey, especially in IQI, right, I do a lot of talks and sharing to my team members and staff, right. One thing that I tend to focus on a lot is that emotional connection.
Okay.
And this is something that I noticed that not many agents will try and connect this emotional side to their buyer. Okay, which I find really important is that because I personally buy stuff on emotions as well. I will look at in terms of facts and all that, but the emotions wins end of the day. So what I tend to do with most of these buyers is that because we have multiple products. We have Bukit Jalil, which is the new hot thing at the moment, right? It's selling off really fast. So for me is that when I pick my product, okay, now let's say it's PJ Damansara X project, I get that whole emotional within it. Okay, what would actually emotionally connect people to this particular project? Because I have buyers who say, I've seen that project already that I've called them for. But I told them, this is actually something different outside the market. And the fact that you saw this and you didn't buy anything else, it means that you're still open to the market. So I dragged them in one more time to explain that, let me just give you 20 minutes of your time. Then they said, I know this will go on longer. I said, no, it won't go on longer. It's because you already seen it. But I just want to make you I want to give you this understanding about this particular project itself.
So how are you emotionally connect this property to the buyer? Like what are the element can be used as an emotional connect?
So there's this 15-minute rule that I tend to follow, right? And I haven't fully shared it out yet, but here's the thing. So this 15-minute rules is that this first 15 minutes, you don't talk about the product as much all about yourself. You talk about them. This first 15 minutes, you ask them questions like,
qualify them.
Yes, like where do you work from? What do you normally like to do? What is it that is like a high flow? You need something that you like. So that first 15 minutes is because in humans, they always just want to be heard, right? So now they know that I already have their attention, that this agent actually wants to know more about me rather than, hey, this product is the best, you're never going to find it anywhere else. So that whole 15 minutes, after that 15 minutes is done, right? Generally, whatever I tell them, whatever I say to them, they tend to, listen. They now look at it in open heart rather than me telling you like, this project's the best, and they will know like, oh, it's a salesman thing. So they get very defensive over it. So I follow this 15-minute rule. I talk about them. I ask them more. And when I tell them like, you know what, this kitchen size is actually really nice. Don't you agree? Like you can actually do a lot of things. 9 out of 10 times they tend to always agree. They will be like, yeah, this is really nice. So I told them, just sit at the sofa, have a feel. What do you feel about this area? Like this is where the gap is, the TV. You make them visualize a lot of things and they just get emotions. Because I remember when my mom bought her house in Subang, right, with my dad. My mom, when she came back, she was just so emotionally connected with it. She told me the steps that she took and all that. And plus, this is before I even thought I want to do property. But then I know like, oh, emotions play a lot of it. I'm not going to lie. She actually came back. She wanted the house so badly till she had fever.
Okay.
She had, so that is when you know that the emotions itself actually play a very big role. And I incorporate that into my sales, into the buyers. So I don't look at people say that, you're a salesman, you're a real estate agent. I tend to look more like a friend towards them. Look at it that way. I have the product, you want to buy, I'm the friend who help you think about it. Consultations and all that, yes, it's in the game.
In the package.
Yeah, but let's talk to a friend first. I want to feel comfortable when I talk to you when I'm about to spend 1 million.
To let them open up,
Yes.
willing to share more.
Correct.
I couldn't agree more with you, especially on the emotional part. Because after a while, right, we've seen so many property, but trust me, not many property can give you this emotional attachment.
Correct.
Like same goes to me, like just now I just have a talk about hotel. And different hotel give us attached in different way. Some hotel I will think about, wow, it's quite peaceful. But some hotel it's all about fun. It's about how fun it is. So I think that when buyer come to view a property, you must to give buyer something to think about, something to let them go back and brag about it.
Yes, exactly.
And that is a thing that when they brag about it, they put a smile on the face. You know that this buyer has so much emotion attached to this property.
Correct.
And it won't go wrong.
Because one of the billionaires that I actually follow, Mark Cuban, right?
Okay.
So when he bought over the Mavs for the NBA during that time, right, he didn't want to sell the players. He wanted to sell the moment. He said, and I remember this, he said, like, you won't remember who scored the last, touchdown and who scored how many slam dunk, but you will always remember who you were there with. So that is where I took that. I was like, this is actually something different. When you sell stuff, emotions actually play a lot of the role. And that's where I continuously feed that through, with emotions to get into the corporation where they want to.
True. Because eventually, if you ask me, it's not easy. It's not easy to do this for all the agents, especially many agents that they don't know what's emotional. They just push a product over.
Correct.
And yes, no doubt, the product is good. And the agent also believe that the product is good.
Yes.
But it just can't just push a good product to buyer, because I say buyer will be always defensive.
Yes.
Like they okay, why should I listen to you? Why should I trust you?
Correct.
So emotion attached is where the buyer open up, start to feel, and the feeling is always right.
Correct.
You can't cheat on the feeling, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. A personal experience of what I did happen was that when I wanted to buy a fridge, right, when I went to Harvey Norman during that period, this lady came to me, this guy, he came to me first and he told me that, oh, you're looking for a fridge, this is one of the best ones, it's intercoolers, there's this, anything. I was like, it's okay, I'm just looking. And when I came, and then this other lady approached me and she told me, like, looking for a fridge? She's like, yeah. And she opened up the fridge. She's like, if you like something where you can store a lot of things, this is actually nice in this area. But if not, don't spend so much on this, but you go for this. So she kept giving me thoughts and different aspects of all of it, right? Now, just like in property, right, just like how I always tell agents as well, understanding the market or knowing the products, you believe in the product, but connecting more towards the buyer actually leads to a higher percentage. And this also leads you to a lot of referral. Because they can have 5 different agents, right? 4 of them would tell you, like, this is the best, no others. Oh, I tell you this project. But you have that one agent who's just like, you know what, this is actually suitable for you based on your requirements. And then I get a lot of referrals through all of this as well, right? And this is one that I actually am now pushing towards my own team members, telling them, you guys have to understand that you are a friend towards them. Don't be so formal. Forget being the guy in the suit and tie. Go over there, be a friend to them and connect with
eventually, if I want to refer someone to somebody, friend always come to my priority. Like anyone asks me any business owner that I know of course, friend always come to my priority.
Yep.
So it's a very smart move that you make your buyer as your friend.
Yeah.
And whenever they have friend to ask them about property matter, you are the one that will come into their mind as a priority.
Yes.
Yeah. So referral is actually a very mindset game, because like eventually this buyer may have met many agents, but probably he only remember a few agents.
Correct.
Yeah. So you always have to be the one that he remember you.
Yes.
Keep on continue to connect. So I think that you also play a very good role as we come to managing the relationship together with the client, right? And that's also, you get a lot of referral cases, I believe.
Yes, there is, and another way is also the way how you would type to your clients when you're calling them and you're texting them. So Mini would probably disagree with me. I don't really call my clients sir, Mr., Miss and all that. I'll call them by, let's say right now, I'll be like, oh, hi Aaron, and I'll call you by name. And we touch bases together, and then later on it'll be like, hey bro, I tell you, right, if you're really looking for something that's connected to where and what, and then they'll listen, then like, hey, but bro, this place is at, and we start going through. So the connection that you have on the phone call, on text,
is different.
Correct. It is differently.
Do you do follow up on WhatsApp and all this?
Yes, I do follow up on WhatsApps, okay. But I tend to keep it limited. Like I have this program where I set it for 12 12 flows. So in that 12 flows, it'll be converted into an appointment. Yeah, to like continuously have that talk with them and all. That's why I won't send too many long messages, just enough for them to see on their notification bar. See, a lot of us always tend to forget, like we wait for them to open the message to see everything. But I grab their attention on the notification bar.
So they no need to open up, but they know what you're sending to them.
Correct. Like I would just tell them, like, random, I'll be like, hi Aaron, your results is out. And then you'll be like, what results? You never even seen the showroom with me. Then you click, you're like, what results? I said, the results of you buying a property, and I'll play with them. Then it's like, bro, you scare me. I thought what results was out and everything, So I just grabbed the attention, the notification bar. I call that the notification bar attention, because generally we only just see that and then we put it down. So that's how it's like.
So basically you are like, you know how to deal with client. And you know how to grab their attention, and you know how to talk to them emotionally and make them as a friend, and eventually push them the right product, and they will think that, hey, this is something that I'm looking for.
Yes.
And eventually the deal is sealed. So I think that the whole process, the whole sales process, you have been like so well versed with it, and keep just repeating it. So I believe that right now you're in the role of like managing your team, expanding your team. So are you right now like recruit more Bumi agents?
Yes, I do recruit more Bumi agents, and just like how I actually share it on my TikTok itself, right? There's no separation between it. Okay, it's just a lot of it is the mindset as well. Like if I could do it, I'm pretty sure others can. Okay, just like how I don't separate the Bumi market and non-Bumi market. For me, it's one market.
Okay.
Same goes to the agents itself. Like I recruit a lot of them. Actually, I tend to recruit a lot of Bumi agents and also women. Okay, because a lot of the women I came path and cross between this, they said, I can't do this, they didn't have the confidence between it. So I changed that. Same thing is that when I connect to a Bumi agent, I ask them like, why is it that you feel like you can't do it? And they'll give you the same reasons. For the next 10 people, they keep giving me the same reasons. So I get them in, and I change the mindset is that it doesn't matter if you're a Bumi or not. The market is there regardless of your status. So this is where I actually tend to push it more. And they get the understanding between it, like product from 200,000 to 1 million, the market is there. So whether they're a Bumi or not, I will still push them and tell them like, you need to know the facts and finding. Because I have this thing is that it's not about being in the market at the right time, it's about how long you've been in the market.
Interesting.
So that is one of the ways that how I now do my recruitment and my talks to other agents as well.
So basically, you don't really separate them. I mean, it's like being a human being, right?
Yes.
Like we have a same kind of like emotion. We have the same kind of decision making process and all these things. You just need to understand human being. Basically, you can just lead them.
Correct.
Yeah. So how I mean, as a package of an agent, right? I'm sure that a lot of agents will ask you, how you get your leads from, and what are the things that I can have a consistent leads. Like I don't need to worry about leads. Is there anything that you can advise an agent?
So one thing is that I do is, which I think majority of agents do, is run Facebook ads on
social media
and everything, right? Another thing is that what I do is I get family members to help me out.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So what I do is I will get like for my dad. So I'll create this poster because I'll know like, okay, my dad has a lot of Bumi friends. Okay. So what I will do is I will actually create a template. And I'll write everything through. And I'll say that you forward this to like 50 people, 50 of your friends that you know of. And then I'll go to my sister. I say, if you know any of your colleagues who are actually looking for, so I ask them, I create a poster. I say, you post this on your social media. And then I'll create a link so they can click and they'll come straight to me. Okay. So organic leads way, this is one of it. And another way is that I will also do my Facebook ads. That's the foundation. You need to invest in order to get back the money.
Yep.
But rather than waiting for people to see my ads, why don't I get people to push my product out for me?
Yes.
So this is one of the things I do. I
reach out the market.
Correct. I reach out. I personally don't do WhatsApp blasting, okay, or like the SMS blasting kind of thing. I get, others to help me push it out. But of course, with AV sale that come in, they get a referral. Nobody wants to do anything for free. So this is something that actually motivates them. Like if I spend another 50 more, there's be a higher chance for it. So I'll even connect with some of my friends. I'll tell them like, I know that market is like, say, my Chinese friend. He stays and he knows a lot of Chinese investors, okay, or starting to invest. I was like, here, push this. I said the whole catalog. They don't need to explain anything. It directly just speaks for himself. If they're interested, the moment they click on the link, it comes to me. and I do all the talkings for them directly. You know,
Wow, how sweet it is.
yeah, I just want it all. It's like a spider web, you know, you're the center and it just keeps expanding, you know. It's just like how hard you actually want to get the sales. If you really want to put the work and time to it, you know, you'll find different ways, you know.
So 7 years, do you enjoy this job?
Oh, yes. I mean, this is, I know you got to love what you do, you know,
Okay.
and I enjoy and I love what I'm doing, because on a daily basis, I really meet new people, you
Yes.
know, and this is the one industry that I find personally that you meet people during appointments and you meet people in the company. Okay.
Okay.
When I was a chef, I see the same people in the front, same people at the back.
Yep.
Okay. I'll talk to the customers, but you know, it's just like a very fast, good, is the food good, and that's about it. But over here, if I'm not having appointments, if I come to the office, right, there's a new face. I'm like, oh, hi, connect, meet. Like, oh, we have mutual friends, we expand. And I like talking to people a lot, is because a 5-minute conversation, I can learn 1% of something new.
True.
You know.
So it's like you like to connect with people. You like to connect with human beings.
Correct.
And that's something that you are passionate in it.
Yes.
So if there's one suggestion for all the new agent, it could be Bumi Agent, whoever, like what would be the suggestion to, if let's say they want to push themselves to the higher market or to close $1 million deal, okay, or probably they want to focus in PJ Damansara. Is there any suggestion to all these agents?
My first suggestion is to find your first 3 weakness, because the first 3 weakness will always be the ones that, you know, segregates you from
Pull you.
doing something, and
Yep.
it holds you back, it pulls you, right? I say find that first 3. So let's say now you tell me language barrier, lack of knowledge about the area, and don't know anything about property. So you know that's the first 3. Okay? So then I will always tell them, in that first 3, how many of it you can self-overcome it yourself? You can study about the market, you can
Yep.
study about property, that you
Yep.
can do yourself. Language barrier is practice. So my advice to them is, you know that 3 weakness, you work on it, you definitely can go all the way up. Because I've had Bumi agents before this, they knew nothing about this at all. And the language barrier was so bad, okay, because he's from Kelantan. So it's very, very big gap from how we talk and how they talk. But he just trained, he practiced and all of it. And then, you know, converting sales for him was really smooth after that. So find that first 3 weakness. That is the most important thing. Once you know that, there is nothing else that is going to stop you in from.
Wow. So I think many people was looking at opportunity, and you're the one that advised on looking at weaknesses, because that's the biggest thing that pull you back.
Correct.
You want to do this thing, but pull you back. You want to go here, but it's pull you back. So once you solve the biggest weakness, and the next thing that you can do is all moving forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best advice I heard. You know, like
Because the thing is, right, when I started, I had a weakness as well.
Okay.
Okay. Some of my colleagues, friends knows this, okay. This is the first time I'm actually saying in public, right? It's actually, I had dyslexia.
Okay.
Since a young age. I couldn't read properly or see numbers properly. Like I tend to jump, miss, gap, all of it. And my sister was the first to suspect that I had it. But over the years, I actually got a doctor to check on me. So apparently I have a mild dyslexia. So when doing calculations and all, right, I'll see like terbalik, all like upside down, words as well. So I was like, how am I going to actually do this? So I found my weakness. But then I also found out a way to overcome it, was because there are other successful people out there with even severe dyslexia and made it up to the top. So I was like, I can't give myself an excuse. So I just try and do things slowly when I explain, and I overcame it. So that's why all the gurus out there will tell you that, you know, opportunity is everywhere, you know, start doing this now, earn 40K a month. But I was like, but let's know your weakness first, because I can give you 40,000 a month, but even if just to wash plates, for example, but if you don't know what is your weakness itself, eventually you're just not going to be in that job for more than 2 months.
yes.
So if you know that weakness, you know that dark path that holds you back, it automatically goes away, and you can go the whole entire road through all of it.
Just face it. You know,
Yes.
Just face it.
Correct.
Okay, I think, you know, like to all the new agent, not even new agent, if let's say you're an agent that's struggling to overcome yourself, to break through, know your weakness first and then overcome it, because what's next is all go with high speed.
Yes.
Yeah. So thanks, Daniel Nazreen. I think that, you know, like just a very brief conversation of 30 minutes, I've learned so much from you and understand the perspective of how to use emotion, because this is something that people tend to forget about it. We are so much so in, you know, just to push the right product to the buyer.
Yes.
But emotion play a big part. I mean, I remember one word, facts. tell, stories sell.
Yes.
So emotion is all about story and how you create a story in the buyer mind so that they remember you, they remember the property, and they remember the motivation of them buying this property.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that we have learned today. And thank you so much for Nazreen. Is there any words for the audience before we end the whole session?
Basically, just go all the way out. Don't limit yourself because the market is there. It's just waiting for you.
Wow. And if you want to learn about property, we have this Chinese version of Property Agents, what agent is asking. And we have me and Adrian is giving an answer to that so that you can very quickly brief through your beginner and start to perform in this industry. Once again, thanks, Nazreen.
Thank you.
See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.